Welcome, guys, to my channel. Hi, all my fellow yappers. This is Nia the Yapper with another episode, another video, however you want to play it. But we are going to be talking about Love Island today. So I'm going to be doing a overview of how Love Island was as a season, from start to finish up until its current episode. I'm going to be talking about the actual Islanders and how I rate them and how I see them, and then talking about a whole bunch of the points that were in the current episode 28. So, how I feel about Love Island this season. I feel like Love Island has been really hyped this season. And don't get me wrong, it's been hyped for a good reason. We have really good Islanders here. And it's really been a very interesting season. So I can see why it's been a bit obsessed. There's been a lot of drama. It's been a lot of keys. But I will say this, the one thing I will say about Love Island for this season, it's a little bit unauthentic because I think people are trying to win the money versus actually finding true connections and leaving here with something. The point of the money is for you guys to kind of start a life together. How can you win money with somebody that you don't like? But that's just me and my own opinion. If you guys do see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So we're going to start off with some of the Islanders that I'm rating. We're going to start off with the girls first. So the first person that I have up here, and some of these people have been voted off, have been dumped from the island. Some people are still on here. I did not get everybody, like for instance, like the people that were like in Casa Amor and not in Casa Amor, because I really didn't get to see them as much, and I don't like judging people based off of only seeing them in 1 or 2 episodes. So I'm gonna start off with Bella Dasha, however y'all say it. I think it's Bella, but people are saying Bella Dasha. But Bella, I really liked her. She was a Leo. I love Leos. As me being an Aries, I love Leos. She was really, really sweet. But I think she just did not get a good chance or a good fight in it. I would have loved to see her more on there. She really gave true authenticity to herself. And I felt like she was like a slow burn, like most of the other people. Like that's the buzzword of this season, slow burn. So I felt like she was kind of coming out her show a little bit more, and I would have loved to see that. Next, we have Shelly. I love Shelly. Shelly is one of my faves on there. I think she just exudes femininity, and I feel that she's just that girl. Let's just say that. I love her. There's no Shelly hate over here. Just want to make that clear. No Shelly hate over here. I will say, with Shelly, there has been some things that people have said about her, but truthfully, I think it has to do with other things and not what she has actually displayed. But I'm not going to go too far into that today. Next, we have Huda. For me, I like this Huda that is at the tail end right now. The Huda before with Jeremiah, I was not a fan of that. I don't condone that type of behavior. I don't like that type of behavior. You know, you have to act with class. And I truly think that for me, Huda just rubbed me off the wrong way in the beginning. So it has kind of made it hard. But I will say the Huda that has been calm, has been chill, that everybody's been like, okay, girl, chill out. She been cool. Like, I ain't gonna say I have a huge problem with her as of right now because there's a lot of other things, but I will say Huda is not my favorite. But at the same threat, I think of it like this. I know none of these people and these people don't know me, so I'm really not here to judge them off of who they are as people, just judging them off of what I've seen on television. Alandria. I love Alandria, but what I don't like about Alandria, I love her to death though, but what I don't like about her is I really hate that she wastes all that time on Taylor. Like, I don't know. I just hated that she wastes all that time on him. Elissa. Anyways, next we have Sierra. Sierra, I liked Sierra in the beginning. Right now, I really don't know, but Sierra seems cool. I never had an issue with her. She seems very level-headed, and that's what I think I like about her. And she seems pretty chill, but I don't know. She's been a little sneaky in these last few episodes. Amaya, I love Amaya. Amaya Papaya, that's my girl. I love her to death. She is so sweet, so genuine, just herself. And I love her every time she's like, if I'm not your cup of tea, then you do not have to drink it. And exactly. If I'm not your cup of tea, you do not have to drink it, sweetheart. Drink you some coffee, drink you some juice, drink you some pop. But this right here is tea, honey. Anyways, next we have Hannah. I actually did not mind Hannah. I just think, like, for me, Hannah wasn't given as much of a spotlight as the other people. But I did not think it was right that she got kicked off the island so fast. I think that was a little messed up, not gonna lie. Next we have Iris. So Iris, actually I like Iris. That's all I really would say. I don't have no issue with Iris. She's cool. She just doesn't get as much showtime, I would think, for me. But also too, I will say with Iris, like, the only thing I did not like was when Sierra was telling Iris about Alandria and Nick kissing, and I was like, I just didn't like that. I felt like it was a little messy, a little bit. Andrina, I loved Andrina when she came in. Like, she just exuded like just this. Oh, I just loved her. I thought she was just so nice, and she was just like, "I'm gonna take your man." Girl, I got up so quick and started exercising as if I had a man. I don't have one, but baby, that got me motivated. Anyways, next we have Clark. I would say with Clark, the only thing that I find weird that y'all are talking about her is her hair. There is nothing wrong with Clark's hair. Like, I'm so lost at what y'all are saying is wrong with Clark's hair. Like, if there's something wrong with Clark's hair, y'all are gonna chew me in if I ever get on there. Other than that, I did not like when Clark mocked Olandria. That was the only thing. It kind of gave a little mean girl a little bit. But other than that, Clark has not been doing anything other than just being herself. I just think she's slightly a little awkward, and that's okay. Grayson, I'm gonna be honest, Grayson gave nothing to me to the show. And she kind of irritated me a little bit when Pepe was trying to let her down nicely and telling her the truth that he really didn't see a spark with her. And I kind of felt she was being a little over dramatic and was doing too much. Yeah. Jaden, I don't know. I just feel like Jaden, I didn't get much of her either. But even when I did like her. I just felt like what messed her up was teaming up with Austin when really she should have been teaming up. I feel like she should have really picked Nick, or she should have, explored a little bit more, but that's just me. Okay, now we're getting to the guys. So the first guy that we have is Ace. Ace is the definition of a true Leo man with a very, very big ego, and a short man with a very, very big Napoleon complex. Yeah. But other than that, Ace is real. I think Ace has a genuine heart, but I think he has been hurt. And so sometimes I think his trauma gets in the way of him fully being vulnerable all the time when it comes to Shelly. And also, I think it's the reason why he don't want to close things all the way off, because I think that trauma is scaring him from actually fully committing to Shelly. Next, we have Austin. I'm not a fan of him. He quite literally annoyed me on my TV screen. And that's about it. Jeremiah. This one kind of hurts. I hated to see Jeremiah go when he did. I really did. I hated to see that. That sucked. I truly think that was off of pure jealousy. I think it was solely based off of, I just really think the excuse was stupid. The same dumb excuse that Sierra and them gave is the same dumb excuse Ace and them gave. Like, saying he keeps going from connection to connection. Oh, so you're upset that he's actually building true connections, is what you're supposed to do on the TV show. And because you're trying to play the game is why that's okay? It's not okay. Just to let you know. Anyways, I'm very upset that Jeremiah was voted off. He got the short end of the stick. But honestly, like I tell everybody, rejection is the best protection because how the way this show is turning out, it's getting a little cuckoo. Next, we have Nick. I don't have no issues with Nick. I think Nick is fake though, and I think he is a rat, and I think that he is no one's friend on that island. I truly think he's no one's friend in that villa. He will say one thing to your face, and then the actions will then show another. And it's funny that no one has caught on to that in the villa, but it's very obvious, and he kind of hides it with, well, I told you before, I did this before, but it still don't lessen the blow. But anyways, next we have Taylor. How can I say this? Taylor, what I don't appreciate is that instead of being real, like how Pepe was with Grayson, instead of you being real and telling Olandria how you felt before, you played it safe up until you found somebody that you actually liked, and then you tried to kick Olandria off of the show. That's what I can't mess with. That's what America is mad at you about. They're not mad at you for picking Clark because we want to see y'all pick people that y'all genuinely like, but we don't want y'all stringing along people that you don't like and not saying anything. And then saying that you were exploring the both of them and only exploring one. Next, we have Charlie. Charlie was gone too soon too. Like, it just blew my mind how we had Austin and Charlie. And y'all, okay, anyways, yes, Charlie was, I feel like Charlie should have had another chance, but I did hear things about Charlie outside of this thing, and I'm like, well, things happen. Next is Jalen. Poor Jalen. That's really all I can say. Poor Jalen. I feel so bad for him, but I love that people are showing him so much love on social media and so much love outside of here. So very, very happy about that. But yeah, Jalen did not get the fair chance he deserved. Next, we have Pepe. I think Pepe's cool. I think Pepe is genuine, but he was kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, acting like he just missed Hannah so much that he don't want to start a new connection. If you miss Hannah that much, you should have left the island with Hannah. Okay? We're not going to sit up here and have you be on Love Island and you don't want to connect with nobody, because that was really rude of you to reject, what's her name? Andrina. That was rude. Anyways, next we have TJ. So sad TJ left too. TJ was really good. But TJ was also kind of boring, but I really hated that TJ got kicked off because he had the most genuine connection with Iris. It's kind of weird how the pattern of how we're seeing genuine connections keep getting kicked off. And I'm really starting to think a lot of these people are being very strategic about who they want to win. And I'm telling you right now, as y'all keep picking people off that we genuinely like, that does not mean that's going to make us vote for you. Think about that. Next, we have Brian. I think Brian is really nice. I think Brian is really sweet. But I do feel like he should have gone for Amaya the first time, and not Andrina. That's just my opinion, because truthfully, Amaya fit his personality more than Andrina did. I think he picked Andrina solely because she's extremely beautiful and she had a beautiful body. And I just hated that he wasted all that time on her and then try to jump to Jaden, then to go to Amaya. That's the only thing. But he's really sweet, he's really kind, he's very understanding, and I do like him for Amaya. They're very cute. Next, we have Chris. I don't know. I have a feeling that I'm not going to like Chris in the next couple of episodes. I don't know why I'm having that feeling. But Chris is cool. He's really nice. I like him for Huda. But I don't like men who always have to emphasize how much they don't like to chase a woman. Because for me, as if you would think you're the prize, it's kind of sad. So yeah. Anyways, next we have Elin. And I like Elin. But I think also with him too, like, you're going to have to explore other options other than Sierra. Like, it's clear that Sierra and Nick are cut off. So find you another connection because you're about to be vulnerable. I'm just letting you know that right now. But I think he's a sweetheart. He is super kind, super nice. And I feel like he would have been perfect for Sierra. But I don't know. Sierra is in love with Nick and she done gave him the okay. Anyways, next we have Zach. I'm not gonna lie, Zach, I don't like you. You a little disingenuous. Like, I don't know. I'm not really rocking with it. But that was the last guy, so we're gonna tap into um episode 28. So it starts in with everybody just coming from like the elimination, saying their goodbyes to Andrina, Austin, Jaded, and TJ. Iris is basically distraught. She is crying. Amaya is crying, of course. Iris is talking to the girl. She's talking to Shelly, Alondria, and Huda. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like when she was talking to them, I really felt like it was very weird and fake of them to not stand behind TJ when they know that that's their girl and they could have saved the connection and they stood behind Andrina. I don't get this obsession with saving friends and not saving true connections. Isn't that the point of the game? So I don't understand why they were saving Andrina when she did not have any solid connections versus when they saw Iris get up there crying and boo-hooing about the guy that she wanted to be with. I just thought it was weird. This girl's girl thing is getting on my nerves because it's not Friendship Island. These people are not your real friends. You don't even have their phone number. You don't even know you don't even know their address. You don't know these people. So why are you saving friendships versus saving connections? And I think that's what I appreciated a little bit of last year. That there was moments where they were picking their friends, but I will say they did pick connections more than they actually picked friends. And I felt that TJ should have been saved, but I mean, truth of the matter is Taylor wasn't getting kicked off of here. Um I had another note to that. Nope, that was the note. And then next, in the next scene, we have Taylor and Clark. They're kind of talking about the last challenge as well, talking about like how Clark felt, hurt a little bit about like America voting her down solely based off of Taylor. Truth of the matter is, like, yes, I do feel like they are hating on her a little bit because of Taylor, but also too, I think she has shown some ways that have made her come off a little bit like a mean girl or have made her look a certain way. But honestly, like, I feel like once her and Alandria talked about it, I feel like I had no issues with Clark. I mean, I never did for real. I thought Clark was pretty. I thought Clark was nice. The only thing I really did not like was her mocking Alandria. That was the only thing for me. But other than that, I feel like she's handled herself pretty well in there. So I don't know. People could really just be. People get to a point where they start hating for no reason. So I don't know. We're gonna move on. Let me see what I said. I'm going to. Yep, I said that. Next scene, we have Shelly and Ace about like, how they felt. Were they shocked about, people putting them at the bottom? And they really were just like, like I was shocked, but, I'm too confident in myself to let America make me feel less than. And honestly, I'm not mad at that. But I truly feel like that the reason why they were put down at the bottom was solely that backlash of that heart rate challenge episode. Then next you have Elin, Chris, and Zach. They are talking about Iris and how they're basically talking about her and kind of saying like, Chris kind of says, he kind of alludes to, well, she feels this horrible if she's going to cry, this much. I feel like she probably should have left the island. I mean, truthfully, can you get a girl a few hours to kind of process the fact that her true connection just left? I'm just saying. But then Elin kind of says, if she's open to, building a connection, then I wouldn't mind doing it. But other than that, I'm not interested in anybody else. I don't know what Elin thinks this is, but you only got 30 minutes before they recouple, and if you don't find someone, you won't be in a couple. So that's gonna happen. Next you have Zach. He kind of says like he's not surprised that Maya is such a great person and that he has a really great connection with her. I was a little lost because didn't we just come off the fact that you did not like Maya and that she was too high strong and she made you uncomfortable when she wanted to kiss you. I don't know. I don't know. That was weird to me. Next, we have Alandria and Iris. They're talking in this makeup room, and Alandria kind of tells Iris how she feels that that it feels like a dagger was stuck in her back when Sierra went over and saved Taylor. Um, and then after that, like instantaneously after that, Sierra walks in and apologizing to Alandria about voting for Taylor, saying basically Nick would be distraught. I feel like that's a lie. I feel like Sierra really got I feel like when Iris told Sierra um, about how she felt funny that Alandria kissed Nick, I feel like that kind of played in Sierra's head a little bit more. And I feel like she kind of picked Taylor off of the fact that she may have felt like it was a little stub. I feel like she low-key felt some type of way about it and hasn't said anything to Alandria yet. I don't feel like it has anything to do with Nick, because if it had anything to do with Nick, she wouldn't have saved Huda when they were saving Huda the second time around. So that's just basically it for me when it comes to that. This girl code thing, this is why I say, like, I don't understand how people get really close with people within 3 weeks, and then people end up showing you why you shouldn't have been close or been besties with them within those 3 weeks. Next, I think, what did I see? I think this is when they're going to sleep and stuff like that, and I saw like Pepe and Iris like looking at each other, and I thought that was kind of cute. Okay, so next we have Chris. This is like while they're doing like everybody's doing the breakfast thing, and kind of like Huda comes over to Chris, and Chris is kind of talking about like how he had a really bad dream about his career and him playing basketball and stuff, and how it's really bothering him, and he really is getting like emotional about it. And for me, based on how social media has looked up his stats, which I thought was crazy, but anyways, they looked up the man's stats and was basically saying he's not really doing that great. So I don't know if that dream was foreshadowing something or trying to tell him something or a wake-up call, but I would say, Chris, you're in the right space right now. Maybe you should focus on content, focus on growing a page, growing something, and putting your once passion into something else. Just because you may not be playing basketball does not mean that you can't do things that are basketball related, or things that could incorporate your passion of basketball. You never know. You don't always have to be subject to one thing. Just because you play basketball and you love basketball does not mean that that's the only thing that you have to do when it comes to basketball or sports. But Huda gives him some really encouraging words and just basically says, like, it's going to be okay. Just keep pushing. Just keep moving forward. For me, I look at it as, joy comes in the morning. Nothing is ever your worst. So always think of it like, where you are right now, you're not going to be there in a few months. You're not going to be there in a few years. Even with Chris being on this show, that's going to change his life, regardless. So I wish him nothing but the best in that. And that, trust me, I get it. I'm still trying to figure out where God is placing me in this life. So you just move on and you figure things out. Next we have Nick and Brian. So Nick and Brian are kind of talking about the elimination. Nick is kind of asking him, like, I'm kind of shocked that, you went behind Jaden. And then he's kind of like, not Elantria, I'm sorry, Andrina. And Brian says he had a spark. It was no spark between him and Andrina anymore. And that he really liked Jaden. But now since they're both gone, he really wants to pursue Amaya. Okay. And then we have, in the next scene, we have Clark and Amaya, and they're talking. And I really liked this because Amaya is just such a sweet girl. She is such a sweet person. So she basically, pulls Clark to the side and tells her, like, hey, don't let America make you feel anything less of yourself, or make you feel like, you are, a disingenuous person, not trustworthy, and just giving her some really encouraging words. And I really like that because, even though Clark may not be my favorite, I don't dislike her or I don't hate her. I think that she's actually a cool person, but I also feel like, no one deserves to be made to feel like they're untrustworthy and ungenuine because of them pairing up with somebody. I just don't find that to be fair. Okay, so now we're at the moment that I was trying to go to. I done skipped the whole extra scene. Sorry, y'all. So Shelly makes Ace some breakfast, and they are sitting at the dock, and they're reiterating what happened at last night's challenge, and America's vote for them. Shelly says that she basically does not want to. Basically, she made this breakfast to kind of tell Ace like, I don't want to explore anymore. And then Ace just says thank you, and I was just like, okay, so this woman tells you the things that you want to hear, and all you can say is thank you, versus, I don't know, maybe reiterating her feelings, maybe adding more to the conversation. I don't know, maybe something. But I think a lot of the times Ace be his own way, because Shelly be trying with you, and then it's like you want to be chased so bad. I don't get it. I just, I'll say this. I believe that Ace had an ego blow as Chris came in here when Shelly brought Chris back here. And I feel like when his ego got blown, it just really messed with him. I'm not going to lie. As soon as Chris got in here, Ace has not been the same. But it's a shame that she poured her heart out to him and he had nothing to say but thank you. I appreciate it. Anyways, next we have Elan. He gets a text about get ready for the next challenge. It's called Crashing Out. Everyone is excited yet nervous. Chris pokes fun at Huda and says, you're going to be doing good at this. And Huda just basically embraces it. She's like, yes, I'm about to pull out all the nines. I'm about to pull out all the stops, honey. I'm about to be the best crash out y'all done seen. No, Huda. I love you for taking accountability for that, but no, baby, we done seen enough of your crash outs. You get real serious. So for this challenge, basically, just to give you a little overview, but I'll probably, review it a little bit more. But basically, the guys are doing this challenge. Each guy gets up there. So the first guy you have is Nick. They have to pick a wing woman or a wing man. They run through this wall. They run through these two walls. One wall does not break through. The other one does. As they break through the wall, they go into this ball pit thing. Then they have to, once they go through the ball pit thing, they have to go through this slime thing where they have to jump on each of these little things or whatever. And the other islanders have to squirt them with slime. And then after they go through that, then they get to pick whoever they want to kiss. So basically, Nick goes first. He chooses Alandria as his wing woman. For all those Nick Alandria stands, I am not one of those. I choose to not be delusional about that. But it looks like I may have a leg up. I don't know. No, I'm just playing. But he picks Alandria first. They go through there. And then he says the reason why, I guess they go through this ring. They put their face in this ring thing, and they're supposed to be saying like they're like what they crashed out over. Nick said he crashed out because he left the island, but I thought Nick crashed out because Elin kissed Sierra during that heart rate challenge. That was the best crash out I've seen out of Nick. But anywho. Next, we have Taylor. Taylor chooses Ace as his wingman. And then he then says the reason why he crashed out was because he had to twerk for Meg. But I thought the reason you crashed out, Taylor, was because Alandria cussed you out during that mailbox challenge. Okay. Anyways, he then picks Clark to kiss, of course. Did y'all peep? Because I peeped on the side. I had paused my screen because I was taking notes, and I had peeped Alandria making sure she was squirting Taylor and Clark with slime. That was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could have screenshotted it. It was so hilarious to me. Next, you have Ace. Ace then chooses Alandria again to be a wing woman in this challenge. He says that he crashed out because Nick left the villa. No, I don't remember you crashing out, but I remember you crying. But I remember you crashing out when Shelly brought Ace back to this villa. I mean, no, when Shelly brought Chris back to the villa. Yeah, I remember that. That's when you crashed out for real, and you still kind of salty. But we're gonna move on. And then of course he kisses Shelly. Nick is next, and he chooses Amaya as his wing woman. He's really trying to lay it on thick, y'all, that he is just the sweetest pie. Sorry, America already made their vote, and now you're doing too much. Um, After they go through the wall, he then kisses Amaya and tries to make out with her. I just thought it was weird because I thought Amaya made you feel uncomfortable when kissing. I don't know, I thought it was a little weird. I thought it was a little odd. It gave really disingenuous. It gave performative, actually, to me. I was really, really confused. Even Amaya was confused. She was in her confession like, where's the boundaries, y'all? Where's the boundaries? Kiki, that was funny. But she was being a good sport, and he said that he crashed out when Austin left the villa. See, problematic already. Your friends and your friends with Austin. That's one. Number two, you're crashing out because it left. That's the problem. So y'all was sitting there kikiing and talking crap about Amaya. Then come to find out when America thinks Amaya is the best person and the sweetest, most kind person, they love Amaya. Now all of a sudden you want to kiss, you want to kiss all over her now. Now you want to kiss. Anyway, no, you crashed out when Amaya crashed out on you 3 times in this villa. That's when you crashed out. Tell the truth, y'all. Irritated. Next is Chris. He picks Brian as his wingman, and that's not really surprising. He said he crashed out when the beds were not big enough. No, you crashed out when Alandria told that you and Huda was kissing. You did not want Shelly to know that. But anyways, he then kisses Huda. I think they're really cute. Next we have Pepe. Pepe picks Taylor as his wingman. I thought it was a little, I didn't think that was weird, but I thought it was like, I didn't know that him and Taylor were super duper close like that. I don't know. He says they have a really close connection. Did not know that. He says he crashes out every time somebody leaves the villa. That was probably the most accurate answer. And then he picks Iris to kiss. But here's the funny part. The funny part is when Alandria goes in the confessional and she like claps her and she's like, "Oh, Pepe has a type." That was funny. Next, and I think nope, next, second to last is Eland. He chooses Sierra as his wing woman. And then he goes through the people sliming him. They hit him in his Johnson, y'all. I was like, oh, that's so rude. That was very rude. And then he started throwing that slime on him he starts throwing that slime on the Islanders as he should have. Hit me in my, come on, that's rude. Very, very rude. Anyways, he says that he crashed out when he realized Nick was still in the villa, and that was hilarious, and that was very accurate. See how we can be honest? Okay, then Elan picks Iris to kiss. Iris said in that confessional that she preferred Pepe's kiss over Elan's kiss. That she 100% preferred Pepe's kiss. So Elan did not put it on her like he should have. Anyways, last we have Brian, and Brian picked Huda as his wing woman, which I thought was interesting because I didn't know that they had a really cool connection too. I think they're really cool friends. They also kind of have a cute little chemistry, and I would have liked to see her explore Brian. I would have liked to see her explore Brian before she explored Chris, but it is what it is. I think that they probably wouldn't have explored each other because Brian and Chris seem to have a really cool friendship, so I get it. And then Brian then chooses Amaya to kiss, and man, oh man, that was a kiss, and they kissed twice, and it was really, 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 really nice. Then we have, so then they're coming back. No, I'm sorry. They choose at the end who's the ultimate crash out. The ultimate crash out becomes Ace. Ace was very excited about that. I put in my points, I put in my notes, Ace loves winning a competition even if it's insulting himself. And then the girls are coming back. They're sitting at the fire pit, and Amaya says that Brian is the best kiss thus far here, and I love that for her. The guys are over there talking, and Brian says that he likes the kiss too. And Taylor asks Pepe how he felt about Iris and the kiss, and he says he chose her because he didn't want to disrespect any other couple. I'm gonna be honest, I did not like that answer solely because do you like her or not? Like, if you're that distraught, if you were that distraught about Hannah leaving, why didn't you just leave when Hannah left? Same thing with Iris. If you're that distraught that TJ left, why didn't you just leave when TJ left? I don't want to see two people sitting over. I'm just so distraught. I don't want to see that all day. Like, y'all either going, you know what I'm saying? But then Pepe ends up saying his confessional. His confessional that he did feel a spark with Iris. So, and he says that he felt comfortable with her. So that was cool. Iris says that she will be open to Pepe and that Pepe is hot, but she misses TJ. As everyone is getting dressed, Elin and Chris are talking. Elin says that it's inevitable to be messy in the villa. I think he meant to say to not be messy in the villa. I think I wrote that wrong. And then Amaya and Zach are chatting. I really thought this was a very weird conversation. Zach did a whole 360. The switch up was insane. It came off very disingenuous and very performative. I'm so glad that they decided that at the end of the day they're going to be friends. Amaya did cry and saying like she did feel bad for cursing him out, and I think that was mature of her to apologize to him, and I think it was mature of him to apologize to her. But I'm glad at the end of the day that she said they're going to have a friendship, as they should. Next, you have Nick and Sierra. They're having a chat in Soul Ties, and they're speaking about how, like, Nick's like, you know, what does being cut off mean? And she basically told him, you know, like, it would be like this, but in the real world, we wouldn't be boyfriend and girlfriend. We would just be exclusively dating. I was like, okay. Shelly and Chris are chatting, and they kind of have this mutual conversation about, like, hey, you know, they kind of talked about like how things ended up a little bit and tried to clear things up, but then they also went into it where they just agreed on just being friends and focusing on the connections they're already in. So Shelly agreed to focus on Ace, and Chris agreed to focus on Huda. So they both said, you know, I wish you the best. I thought that was a cool conversation. Next, you have Nick talking. I think Nick is talking to Sierra in the kitchen area, and he says like he thinks it's a little weird that Iris and Pepe are talking so soon after TJ and them left. It's like, okay, they're on Love Island. Like they're either gonna have to find a connection or not. Y'all kicked him off. If you were so concerned about TJ being on there, Nick, or TJ being there, Sierra, why didn't y'all stand behind TJ? Thought so. Anyways, next, Iris says Pepe never crossed her mind to talk to because of how everything played out, and I can agree with that. Pepe had his mind on Sierra and Hannah, and mind you, they came in there together, so really she probably looked at him as a friend and not somebody that she was going to connect with. That kind of made sense to me. Then lastly, we kind of get into where Amaya and Brian, they're having a chat in the speakeasy, and Brian just reassures Amaya in this moment that you don't have to doubt yourself, you don't have to fix yourself for anybody, and that don't allow the guys to make you feel any type of way about you being yourself. And I loved that for her because she deserved it. All those guys were making her second guess herself, doubt herself, and make her feel like she was just too much. And the thing is, it wasn't that she was too much. Y'all just weren't doing enough. Ugh, irritating. Anyways, I wanted to say something. Also, Amaya kind of expressed to him in that moment that she really doesn't go out much. She kind of keeps it really chill. She kind of keeps it really, really chill, and she doesn't party that much now that she's gotten a little bit older. But to me, she's still in her she's not a young 20-year-old or like in her younger 20s, but she's, I feel like 25 is still, mid 20s. Brian, she says that Brian makes her, gives her a safe aura, and I love that for her. And I kind of like them together. They're smiling, 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 and then they share a really passionate kiss that I thought was really nice in the speakeasy. I really love it for Amaya. I think that I love that for her. Overall, this was a very chill episode. I love that everybody made up with each other. Everybody was chill. Everybody was able to be grown adults about things. I love that Amaya and Brian and Iris and Pepe are kind of exploring connections. But due to it being a recoupling this Sunday, tomorrow, I can predict that Elin will be left vulnerable. I'll say this, my predictions that I have, I feel like it's going to be Ace and Shelly, of course, Huda and Chris, Alondria and Zach, Sierra and Nick, Amaya and Brian, Iris and Pepe, Clark and Taylor, and that definitely leaves Elin vulnerable. I feel like Elin and Alondria are skating by in this challenge. Not in this challenge, but on this show. And that I'm kind of sick of Elin chasing Sierra throughout this whole time. I felt like once he saw that Nick was still here, he should have been trying to connect with other women. Same thing with Alondria. As soon as she would have seen that Taylor was talking to somebody else or that she was going to Casa, she should have explored other connections as well and not put their eggs in one basket. But that is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you guys all watched to the end, and just subscribe, like this video, and I hope that you guys really do like this video. And if you do, let me know. If you don't, that's fine too. But as I keep growing and going, I just want to leave you guys with this message: do what's best for you, and just know that you are always enough, and that whatever you do, put your best foot forward and don't care about what other people say. So I hope you guys have a blessed day, and Nia the Yapper is out. Peace.